the legendary high-speed, undulating and technical Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium for the 2012 Spa Classic. And you'd be hard-pressed to find a more complete programme than the Classic Endurance 1 and 2, Trofeo Nastro Rosso, 60s Endurance, Trofeo ACL and Group C categories, without forgetting the single-seater Historic Formula 2 and FIA Historic Formula 1 classes. It's an extraordinary list of entries for the second running of the Pitta Auto event.
C'est une fierté de pouvoir réunir un tel plateau.
We're very happy. We're really pleased that the owners have shown confidence in us. I think it's important when we organise races each year to come up with a theme that keeps everyone interested. And for this second edition, we have a magnificent theme.
Qui renouvelle un peu le genre. Et clairement, pour la deuxième édition, c'est un thème magnifique.
On the track, the action is breathtaking. The Spa Classic is becoming one of the must-do vintage car meetings of the season. And this year, tribute is paid to the 1960s and the creation of the Belgian Écurie-Francorchamps team. It's a fine celebration. There are the FF40s, which are very well known. The FF60s are here to pay tribute to Jacques Soiters. And we have a lot of cars from the Écurie-Francorchamps squad and the Belgian national team on display. Older vintage car buffs will recognise that this is a Ferrari, a 275 GTB owned by Philippe Langsweer, who was an associate of the famous Jacques Soiters.
J'ai participé à la vie du garage Francorchamps parce que
I spent my time with the Écurie-Francorchamps. When I turned up in the early 80s, the team wasn't really active anymore, but I was, and I learned from Monsieur Soiters, who shared his racing experience with me. I raced at Le Mans. I did it all, so yes, he shared a lot with me.
Toutes les explications sur les courses. Moi, j'ai fait le Mans en marche avant, en marche arrière, j'ai tout fait, moi, là. Donc, effectivement, il m'en a beaucoup parlé.
Philippe and his son are competing in the Trofeo Nastro Rosso. This weekend he's letting his son get behind the wheel of the Ferrari. I only have one son, so I couldn't say no. My dad still gives me advice before the race. To be able to race in such a prestigious field doesn't happen every day. The start of the race is stressful, but we're here to enjoy ourselves and not damage the car. So, we'll be careful.
Et puis voilà, on est là pour s'amuser, on n'est pas là pour casser les voitures et donc on prend ses précautions, j'espère.
And being careful is good advice when you realise how much the field is worth. On row 1, it's Swiss driver Michael Ehrlich in the Bizzarini 5300 GT and Belgium's Vincent Gay in a 1966 Ferrari 275 GTB. And the 1 hour Trofeo Nastro Rosso is underway with a field of pre-1966 Italian GTs. And it's clear that this is one of the more glamorous fields of the Spa Classic. At the end, it's Dutchman Hans Hugenholz taking the honours in a 1961 Ferrari 250 GT Drogo, followed by Belgian Eric Mestag in a Bizzarini 5300 GT, with Frenchman Gregory Noblet third in a Ferrari 275 GT. Next up, the historic Formula One race, Spain's Joaquin Folch on pole in a 1981 Brabham BT49C. Jean-Michel Martin in a Fittipaldi F8 shares row 1. On row 2, Christophe Donsembourg from Belgium and Richard Eyre from England. Race 1 of the weekend for today's Formula One ancestors. They may be ageing, but they remain mightily impressive. Folch and his Brabham won from pole ahead of the two local drivers Jean-Michel Martin and Christophe Donsembourg. The action is far from over, no time to rest here, except for taking in this unique atmosphere at the Spa Classic 2012. The sun's shining, the weather's great. How can you ask for more? This weekend at Spa is car collector heaven, and for luxury brands it's an ideal venue for their merchandise. And there's more. Perched high in the Uniroyal Tower, Stéphane Certain from the Gignon Group, a BMW distributor, has invited his guests to share the tremendous view of the circuit.
C'est la réalisation d'un rêve parce que
This is a dream come true. It used to be race command when I was a child, and now I get to look over the circuit. To welcome our customers here is a dream come true.
Pour venir voir les voitures depuis la direction de course. Quand j'étais petit, j'arrivais à passer. Plus âgé, c'était difficile. Donc aujourd'hui, d'accueillir nos clients ici, c'est la réalisation d'un rêve, quoi. Je pense que c'est ce qui fait la différence.
We're all enthusiasts. We're not just content in building or selling cars, we try to share our passion. And I think it makes all the difference with a distributor such as us.
Par rapport à vos collègues qui sont juste, je vais dire, des prestataires de services. Nous, on essaye d'être un petit peu plus que cela.
Now it's the turn of the loud and powerful 60s endurance class to take over for 2 hours of racing, featuring AC Cobra celebrating their 50th birthday, Ford Mustangs, Jaguar E-Types, Lotus 15s and the like. It's an all-Cobra front row with Holland's David Hart in a 1965 AC Cobra starting from pole, with Ludovic Caron alongside. The Anglo-American GT Icon is the car to beat in the 60s endurance category, and there are no fewer than 60 cars on the track for the 2-hour race, with a driver change after 1 hour, while some do try to go the distance on their own. And the Cobras didn't disappoint with a sweep of the top 4 places. Father and daughter team of Alex and Shirley van der Lof take the win ahead of the French-Swiss duo of Dominique Guéna and Yvon Mahé and France's Olivier Casilière. And after the Anglo-American stars, it's time for the legendary Italian cars. The FF60 Rally made its way to Spa, and it's yet another tribute to the Écurie-Francorchamps. With a fine turnout of Ferraris, the Spa Classic takes on the look of a rolling Concorde d'Elegance, and the spectators just can't get enough. One of those participating is Florence Swatters, daughter of the famous Belgian competitor Jacques Swatters, who is being honoured this weekend. Jacques Swatters had a lifelong passion for the automobile and competition. Born in 1948, his career took him to the most famous motor races and circuits in the world, including Le Mans and of course Spa-Francorchamps. He co-founded the Écurie-Francorchamps team that was for the most part associated with Ferrari. I would drool when he'd take off with a fine-looking car. I dreamt of driving. When I was 18, I thought he'd let me drive a Ferrari, but I had to wait until I was 25. He told me it was too dangerous for an 18-year-old.
Aujourd'hui, il serait fier de vous.
Would he be proud of you today, we asked, and she says, I hope so. I can tell you that I'm very proud of him. I could never do enough to properly honour him. I think that when we die, we are soon forgotten. But he's with us this weekend. We're speaking a lot about him, and I'll do everything I can for that to continue on.
Et je ferai toujours tout ce qu'il faut pour qu'on continue à parler de lui.
There's now a circuit bridge named after Jacques Swatters, and also a stele that's been unveiled during the event. The sculpture has been made by a former bodyworker of Écurie-Francorchamps, Mr. Roberto Bernardi. Now Francorchamps and Swatters are linked for the rest of eternity. And now that day one of the Spa Classic has come to an end, the track is taken over by fans of silent vehicles and gravity. You can't miss this, you have to show complete confidence in the driver. You have to be coordinated.
Et puis il faut bien sortir au bon moment, qu'il y ait une bonne concertation, puis ça, on suit les ordres.
km/h 100 kilometers per hour in a machine like this is certainly intense. The next morning it was time for the historic Formula 2 class to head onto the Spa circuit for its first race of the weekend. And the category is reserved for F2 cars built prior to 1979. Frenchman Philippe Harper took the pole for the F2 race in his 1977 Ralt RT1. England's Matthew Watts in a 1977 March also starts from the front row. Formula 2 was created in 1947, just a year after F1 came onto the scene. F2 is just above F3 and just below Formula 1. In 1985, the category was replaced by F3000, and then in 2005, GP2 took over as the F1 feeder series. But in 2009, the term Formula 2 returned, although it's not the F1 stepping stone it had been in its glory days. Philippe Harper went on to take the win in historic Formula 2 at the wheel of his Ralt. Matthew Watts and Switzerland's Hans Peter joined Harper on the podium. Frenchman Patrice Lafarge in his BMW-powered Lola starts the CER2 race from pole position and is joined on row 1 by Belgian Loïc Demont in a 1976 Osella. Scotland's Sandy Watson set the third best time in qualifying and is joined on row 2 by Switzerland's Dominique Guénat in a 1977 Lola T286. As we've cited 2 Lolas in this class, now's as good a time as any to evoke a little more about the famous British make, which was founded in 1958. Lola is based in Huntingdon near Cambridge. Lola has a long winning pedigree in everything from American Indy-style cars to endurance, and of course the many F1 feeder series. Frenchman Patrice Lafarge in his BMW-powered Lola starts the CER2 race from pole position and is joined on row 1 by Belgian Loic Demont in a 1976 Osella. Scotland's Sandy Watson set the third best time in qualifying and is joined on row 2 by Switzerland's Dominique Guénat in a 1977 Lola T286. As we've cited 2 Lolas in this class, now's as good a time as any to evoke a little more about the famous British make, which was founded in 1958. Lola is based in Huntingdon near Cambridge. Lola has a long winning pedigree in everything from American Indy-style cars to endurance, and of course the many F1 feeder series.
Him really, and I'm having a